Hello, welcome into this new style of video. Today we're gonna talk about the scaling position, and I want to show you a little bit the effect of the position on the draft. So basically on the air resistance. So you know, if we are kind of pretty much up when we skate, this is quite a problem because most of the wind will get into our body like this, and it will slow us down a lot. As you can see from this view, most of the wind will basically hit our body, and we will have to spend a lot of energy to fight this. So it's not the ideal position, of course, and we want to get a more aerodynamic position. So we can avoid this problem of air resistance. So what we want, of course, is to get the upper body in as much as possible aerodynamic position. So not like quite perfect here, but let's try to correct this a little bit in details. Yeah, not so bad here. And so we want to be more aerodynamic, so some part of the wind, of course, then go over the body and there is no impact, and some of the wind will go a bit like this over our body, little over the shoulders, and go again like this. And some of the wind, if we look from a more upper view, some of the not wind, the air is we can call it the wind. Basically it will go kind of around the body like this and make some turbulence behind, and this is what we call kind of the draft effect. When the wind is coming back a little bit like a vortex in this area, it's basically where you want to stand as a skater when you skate behind somebody. So of course here, as you can see, the more we can be in an aerodynamic position when you look from front, the better it's gonna be for the wind, and the less effort we would have to do to push to create the speed or to maintain the speed. So very important, get a good aerodynamic position. Of course, if we go even lower by flexing the legs, if we go sit more deep, we would be even more aerodynamic, but it will cost us also a lot of energy, and especially for the muscle leg. So it's a ratio between how much energy we spend and how much speed we can generate. So here, if we would sit too low, that's good for sprints, but for long distance it would cost us a lot of energy, so maybe not the most efficient always. So let's take some case to explain, like for example, what's happening also when we are in the draft. So I will try to select this skater, everything all good, and basically what we can do is we want to be in the draft. So if we are at this distance, if we are behind somebody and we try to kind of take and keep the same technique, then it's very hard to be super close, because our head will be almost behind the hip of the other, so it's not so easy. The wind will still go kind of around, but still it can hurt us a bit. You see, the vortex want to be in this area, kind of. So it's still not ideal to be like this. Also, what we want when we are in the draft, we want to be as close as possible to each other, because here there is still, you see, enough gap between the two skates. There is enough place between the two bodies, basically, to let the wind or air turbulence affect your energy. So let's try to solve this in another way also. So if I take this skater, and we could basically bring the body a little more up when we are in the draft, and that would basically help us to, if I can even get all the wheels here. I don't know if it works. Yes, maybe. Yes. Then we are allowed to be basically closer in the draft when we bring the upper body a little bit more up. It also make it easier for the muscle from the lower part here, the lower back muscle. We will save energy because we'll be able to stand a little bit more straight, and basically the more far we are in the back, the more we can stand a little bit more up behind somebody. So yeah, one way to get a little closer is to bring the shoulder a little more up when you are following somebody. It's a good way to get a better draft. Also, then the vortex will be more to our advantage here, because it will kind of let's try to go on both sides. It would do something kind of like this, and you see it's like the wind is turning back and pushing us forward instead of slowing us down when we are like this. So yeah, pretty important to get this understood when we are skating. The more we can protect ourselves from the wind, the better it is. It's not like perfect data, of course. It's not analyzed with computer and stuff or in a wind tunnel, but this is what most of the skaters feel, and we basically know it's important to be as close to each other to get the draft. We have to adapt a little bit the technique by bringing the shoulders up, and basically like this we can be pretty close during skating, save a lot of energy, still have a good vision of what's happening in the race. When you basically stand a little more up like this, it's easier also to bring the head a little more up and look what's going on around. We can quite easily see the tactical situation needed in a race, so you can look more up, of course. If I take the arm, of course, you can put your arm in the back to get even more aerodynamic position here. So yeah, more or less, let's say, not very easily done here. And try again. Yes, more something like this, not perfect here, but you understand the idea. Up. And so yeah, here we can still see a lot what situation is happening in the race and so on, and we are super aerodynamic, so pretty good. Yeah, that's it for today's video. New concept. I try to use some 3D stuff like I do and try to use new things. Here I use the Oculus Quest 2 and one software from 3D to simulate this situation. Yeah, quite easy concept to understand. How important is the air resistance in our sport, how important is the draft in our sport, and we really want to be inside the vortex here, basically, to get pushed forward during skating and get some help for training and of course for racing too. Thanks for following, and see you in another tutorial or another technical video about skating.